He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if he want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money.
You what? I said to AJ, if this goes past 5 rounds, everybody's gonna be having a go at you because you can't go past 5 rounds with this kid. He has to go past 1 round or 2 rounds. Past beyond 4 or 5 rounds, people are gonna be doubting you as a fighter himself.
Jake Paul cannot go 6 minutes with Anthony Joshua. It's just not gonna happen. You're talking about a man who starched Klitschko.
Roy Jones Jr. paints the upcoming Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua showdown like a storm rolling in, insisting AJ will dismantle Jake with unforgiving force. He says the clash fuels pure excitement, pulls global eyes toward boxing, and unleashes a tidal wave of money, lifting the sport and everyone tied to the spectacle.
Change subjects just a little bit here, and Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. 1, do you think it's good for boxing, and 2, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if he want to get a good win to put him back on the scene.
Derek Chisora took a very different path in his take on the situation, seeing the whole discussion as less about competitiveness and far more about business. He argued that this fight isn't something fans should view as a do-or-die showdown or a legacy-defining moment, but rather a massive chance for everyone involved to make serious money with almost no real danger attached. He pointed out that Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul, and the entire promotional machine behind the event are set to walk away with huge financial rewards. Chisora's view is blunt. Critics aren't furious because the fight is weak. They're furious because the people in it are earning an enormous amount of money. To him, jealousy fuels the backlash, far more than any true concern for boxing tradition.
AJ against Jake Paul. What sort of gulf do you expect to see?
Listen, we are in the game of entertainment. Either entertainment in the ring or on the football pitch, it don't matter. It's called entertainment. People are going to buy tickets to go watch Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight. We're all entertainers, either way. So I'm happy. I'm so happy for AJ because he's doing this for himself. And you have to understand, you have to give so much respect to Jake Paul. Whatever he says, he makes it happen. Before he was like he wants to fight Anthony Joshua and people were laughing at him. And then suddenly it's happened and people are like, wow, what's going on here? So kudos to that kid, man. He's very good at promoting everything he does.
Derek, do you reckon there's a bit of jealousy from other boxers and even like pundits flying around as well? Because even since it's been announced last night and today...
I know the biggest jealousy pundit you guys have in that is Simon Jordan. I'm telling you right now, Simon Jordan right now, he must be suffering inside and out right now because he knows Eddie's making money, Anthony Josh's making money. So he is dying right now, Simon Jordan.
Look, Derek, and I know you say it's entertainment and there'll be a massive audience, but is there an element of danger as well? Look, AJ's a former world champion, and this is a guy, the best he's been in with is Tommy Fury.
Listen, he don't really care. In the boxing ring, it's the only place you can murder somebody and not go to jail. So kudos to that. So if he gets beaten up and something happens, it's part of the game.
Well, I'm not sure that's a game that people will want to see, though.
Is it a real fight, though? Is this going to be a proper fight? You will know more than most.
Mate, let me tell you something. From how much they're getting paid, about 177 million, whatever, and they're splitting it down the middle. So I hope it's not a game because I want to see some blood. I want to see somebody's teeth falling out. So I told Anthony.
The conversation around this Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua showdown has turned into one of the most unexpected yet gripping debates in modern boxing. Abdullah Mason stepped in with a surprisingly balanced take, refusing to label the matchup as a circus or a foregone disaster. Instead, he argued that Jake Paul has built enough skill and discipline to make the fight at least somewhat competitive. To Mason, Paul's years of serious training, his choice of seasoned opponents, and the steady way he's leveled up matter more than people admit. He isn't claiming Paul could beat Joshua, only that fans shouldn't ignore the work Paul has poured in. It's a perspective that pushes back against what many boxing purists instinctively feel, because Joshua is a former unified heavyweight champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and one of the most technically crafted heavyweights of the last decade.
Is that surprising? Is that the first you've heard of it?
That's the first I've heard of it. That's surprising to me.
Confirmed. 3 minute, eight rounds.
3 minute, 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just your take on it. Just seeing Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua in a heavyweight fight.
I mean, I guess they doing what's best for them, you know. So I feel like, you know, I don't got too much to say on it.
I asked you before when Tank wasn't originally scheduled to face him if you'd watched it. You said you would, but is this more of a competitive challenge for Jake, do you see, because of a natural weight between them being a lot closer?
Oh, this is definitely more of a competitive challenge for them. So
Legendary promoter Frank Warren echoed this idea in his own style, admitting openly that no matter how much criticism surrounds the fight, everyone will end up watching. That honesty reveals a simple truth. Even the loudest haters won't be able to resist tuning in. Warren pointed out that Jake Paul has steadily raised the level of his opponents, taking real steps forward in skill, experience, and challenge. To him, the matchup isn't an insult to boxing. It's part of the sport's evolution, where entertainment, global reach, and massive financial appeal blend with traditional matchups. His approval hints that the industry no longer sees Jake Paul as an outsider, but as a growing piece of boxing's ecosystem.
Well, what I think is that people will buy it. They'll watch it. And Netflix have bought it. And they're expecting to get big numbers. They've had big numbers for his last 2 fights. He's a major attraction for whatever reason. But he's a licensed boxer. He trains, he works as a fighter. I'll take my hat off to him for all of that. He's not a heavyweight. And he's stepping in with, people have criticised some of his opponents in the past, but he's stepping up to the plate.
Can't criticise this one, I suppose.
He's gone from one extreme to the other. He's fighting a guy, two-time world champion, as somebody who's a natural heavyweight. I know there's a weight clause thing on there, but I don't think that will make a lot of difference to AJ. And he's also a gold medalist. I think it's he's a massive favourite, AJ, for this fight. He's getting very, very well paid for it. And people will buy it. Buy it because it's a road crash.
He is a massive favourite. The bookies only have him at 1-10 and 1-4 to get the stoppage. Is that a bit mad to you?
I mean, look, you've seen AJ. You see what he's done with Ngannou.
Yeah, Ngannou and Jake Paul are two very...
And Ngannou's a natural heavyweight.
Yeah. I just thought those odds seemed a little bit, I suppose...
skinny.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it disrespectful to the integrity of boxing?
No, because it's... Look, you're asking a question that you know the answer to, as does most people in the industry. So, it is what it is. It's a pure money-making venture with a guy that's AJ doesn't mean too much in America. Jake Paul does. AJ's ventures in America didn't go down too well, did it? So Jake Paul does, though, and he's got a massive following, and that's why he's on the A side of the card.
Former heavyweight champion David Haye delivered one of the harshest takes, warning that for Jake Paul, stepping into the ring with Joshua could be dangerous enough to feel like his last day on earth. He stressed the huge physical gap between them. Joshua's size, power, experience, and athletic pedigree sit on a level far beyond anything Paul has ever dealt with. Haye's angle is rooted in pure boxing reality. Joshua has knocked out elite heavyweights, while Paul has fought men who were smaller, older, or past their prime. The gap, Haye believes, is so enormous it shouldn't even be discussed as competitive. To him, it's a mismatch on every level, not just technical but physical, a warning meant to show how real heavyweight power can flip everything in an instant.
Is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet, someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice, although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois. He's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other. And Anthony Joshua, he's not a bodybuilder.
Renowned boxing journalist Gareth A. Davis delivered one of the most strategic and measured takes on the upcoming Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. To him, accepting this matchup wouldn't be a bad move for Joshua at all. With hopes of landing a massive showdown against Tyson Fury next year, Joshua desperately needs activity, rhythm, and confidence, things he struggled to hold on to because of long layoffs, unexpected losses, and inconsistent schedules. Davis argued that Jake Paul could actually be the perfect, financially enormous warm-up, giving Joshua a chance to stay sharp without stepping into the kind of extreme danger that comes with elite heavyweights. Unlike risky contenders who could derail him, Paul allows Joshua to stay active with far less pressure. And then there's the business angle. Tune-ups rarely make real money, yet this one could end up being one of the biggest paydays of Joshua's entire career. For that reason alone, Davis believes the fight makes complete sense. It checks every box, keeps Joshua in motion, draws global attention, brings a massive financial reward, and still sets him up perfectly for a future collision with Fury.
Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns $70 million for this, are we really going to see him get up for a fight with Tyson Fury, which is being talked about for next September? I understand that fight isn't signed yet. There's still a warm-up fight. I don't blame Eddie Hearn, as I said to him. I would have taken that fight if I was in the same situation. I don't blame him taking this as a second warm-up fight. But the problem for Anthony Joshua, if he doesn't do what he did to Francis Ngannou in those 2 rounds in Riyadh and finish him conclusively, he's going to be pilloried for it. If this fight stretches more than 2 or 3 rounds and he hasn't got Jake Paul out there, he will get booed and hammered over it. So there is pressure on him to go in there. And if he gets caught or clipped, which I've heard Frank Warren talking about that today, if he gets caught, the arena's going to erupt if Jake Paul lands a punch, So it's a very peculiar matchup. Yes, it's one I'm going to watch and I'm going to go to. I'm in Miami this week anyway for BKB 48. Lucas Brown's fighting Gustavo Trujillo with the bare fists for the heavyweight title in BKB. Where's the press conference on Friday? In Miami for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. They say the Lord works in mysterious ways. I'm over there. So it's a very weird one, but this is where we are. Jake Paul's unique. I'm interested in your take on it, Chris.
Yeah, I would start with the Jake Paul side of it. I give Jake...
Trainer and boxing personality Tun Ajayi pushed back hard against the critics attacking Anthony Joshua for even considering a fight with Jake Paul. Ajayi questioned why some fans seem ready to tear Joshua down no matter what he does, whether he faces elite opponents or takes a different kind of high payday opportunity. He argued that boxing is full of contradictions. Fans demand big fights, demand entertainment, demand knockouts, demand consistency, yet still turn around and attack fighters for taking the very opportunities that deliver all of that. To him, the criticism thrown at Joshua is unfair, inconsistent, and driven more by emotion than logic. Ajayi also echoed the belief that, from an industry point of view, there's nothing wrong with this matchup. It brings attention, money, and new audiences into the sport, lifting boxing as a whole.
Stop Ngannou in two like that, but you can't stop Jake in two. Has he got
on,
a short amount of time to get this job done?
This fight is not going on his record, right?
I believe it will.
This fight is going on his actual record.
I mean, some details are still unconfirmed, but I believe this is not an exhibition, this is a fight.
Well, listen, WWE is not real. And if we are to be, sensible about this whole thing, Jake Paul cannot go 6 minutes with Anthony Joshua. It's just not going to happen. You're talking about a man who starched Klitschko. Come on. It's like, this is AJ we're talking about. As far as I'm concerned, AJ can walk in there with one leg and one arm and still win the fight. I'm not going to be led to believe that Jake Paul it has a chance against Anthony Joshua, although he is improved as a fighter. He cannot be looked on as just a gimmick fighter. Now he's actually got boxing skills and he's done very well thus far. But I think Anthony Joshua is a step too far, and I'm not expecting that fight to go more than a couple of rounds.
A major twist in the story unfolded when talk of staging the fight on Netflix suddenly surfaced. At first, Anthony Joshua shut the idea down completely, insisting he couldn't fight on Netflix, and many assumed that was the end of the rumor. But everything shifted the moment the financial offer exploded into something too enormous to turn away from. Joshua has dealt with long stretches of inactivity, tough losses, and rebuilding phases, and a fight like this, massive money, global exposure, and far lower risk than facing elite contenders, quickly grew more tempting. Slowly, the impossible began to look possible, and now the world genuinely believes this fight can happen.
Happen because for the moment, AJ can't fight on Netflix. But since then, the money has obviously really talked and has made the fight happen. While also, it's been a case of brilliant timing. I think the Paul camp is willing to take this fight now because they probably know they won't get the chance again for at least 12 months. Joshua has been out of the ring for a little while now. The last time we saw him in there was in September of last year, where he got knocked out by then IBF champion Daniel Dubois. His inevitable return has since been delayed because of several issues, yet Eddie Hearn wanted to get AJ back in the ring because of a rumoured Fury fight. That seems to be on the horizon for late next year. Turkey has said Joshua will return to Saudi in February on a show there, and hopefully that will build up to...
The debate over Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua goes far beyond skill. It's a window into modern boxing itself. Changing priorities, rising fan expectations, high-stakes entertainment, and a reshaping of power within the sport. Jake Paul carries an audience boxing hasn't seen in decades, while Joshua brings credibility, legacy, and the undeniable weight of true athletic excellence. Together, they craft a spectacle that might rile the purists, but undeniably sparks excitement across the mainstream.
Hoping to get Joshua back in the ring against anybody in December just to knock off some of the ring rust. Although I don't think even Joshua and his team would have thought that easy fight would end up being Jake Paul, and none of them probably thought this easy fight would end up being potentially the biggest payday of his career to date. This is Netflix truly flexing their muscles. They've made money talk and walk, and have pushed through really the impossible. There would have had to be serious coin to have made this happen. Enough coin to seemingly make AJ be okay with being the B-side. This fight is being promoted as Jake versus Joshua. What world are we living in where Anthony Joshua is the promotional B-side to Jake Paul? And although you might think Jake Paul is mad for taking this fight, that's exactly what they want you to think. It doesn't matter the quality of the actual fight. They want to simply make the most viral pairing possible to have the best chance at selling you a fight. Tyson Paul wasn't much of a fight, but the virality made tens of millions of people tune in, and here
And that wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more.